For more, let's bring in Will Bruzzo, senior attorney at the law offices of William Bruzzo, and we're also joined by constitutional law attorney Jenna Ellis, member of the Trump 2020 Advisory Board. Will, let's start with you. House Judiciary Chairman Jerry Nadler, he believed that it's important that the American people will hear directly from Mueller in his voice about what's in the report. But doesn't the American public already know what's in the report? Because at the end of the day, the report says no collusion, and we didn't see charges on obstruction. So why is Mueller's testimony still so important?
That is a great summary. And
I'll start with Will.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry.
So it's important because, of course, the president and his attorney general, Mr. Barr, have lied to the American public and said that the report exonerated him on obstruction of justice. We know that's not the case. What Mueller actually said was that he neither exonerated him or found him, criminally culpable for having committed obstruction of justice. But a simple reading of the report will show, and in fact, even Republicans like Mr. Amash, former Republican representative of Michigan, said that in fact it's very, very clear that Donald Trump did obstruct justice on multiple occasions, including by firing the former FBI director Comey. So I think that sort of stuff is going to come out. And one thing about Mueller is, I'm a lawyer. I can understand the things that Mueller is saying, but he speaks in legalese. Most Americans don't understand what he says. And he's been somewhat, ambivalent or opaque on some of the statements like, well, I don't exonerate him, but I also don't find him criminally responsible. Well, he needs to straighten that out. He has a duty to the American people to speak in a language that they understand and to explain, in fact, the president was not exonerated and that there was substantial evidence that he did obstruct justice multiple times.
Jenna, what are you looking forward to hearing from the special counsel?
Well, I think that your summary in the very beginning was absolutely correct. That, what does the Democrats think that the American public needs? That, Robert Mueller actually read word for word his 448-page report that has been on the record that we can all read for ourselves. I mean, this is just something where the Democrats are beating a dead horse called Mueller, and they're trying to fabricate something and use his words that I do agree with Will were a little bit fudgy. And the reason for that is because you don't exonerate someone when they haven't been indicted. So the fact that the president and no one related to his campaign at all was in any way criminally liable or had any sort of criminal action filed against them means that they didn't even have an opportunity to be exonerated because they were never criminally liable to begin with. There was no probable cause sufficient for that. That's what the American public need to know. But this is just going to be a dog and pony show. This is going to be Jerry Nadler up there trying to wave a magic wand and make Mueller relevant again when we as the American public actually need to move on. I wish that the Democrats would focus on what they actually would like to provide in 2020, because right now their entire campaign messaging is simply anti-President Trump. That's all that the Democrats are saying. That's all that we're going to find out on Wednesday is just going to be Trump bashing.
Well, Jenna says it's to make Mueller relevant again or to make the impeachment narrative relevant again. What do you think?
So, I mean, to say that no one in the Trump administration has been indicted, what about Flynn? What about Manafort, who was actually working with the Russian government in the Ukraine? What about Papadopoulos, who was the first one to hear about these
totally
emails?
unassociated with the campaign.
They were all indicted. They were all indicted for acts. So I don't know why you would say that about no one being indicted.
Will,
I've never seen that many people indicted in one administration.
Let's be specific. It was not related to the campaign or actions in any way associated with President Trump or Donald Trump for President Inc. It was for things that were fully outside the scope of that. So let's be honest here. If we're going to have a debate on exactly what they were charged and criminally held liable for, it was not in anything related to President Trump.
Can Democrats ask Mueller questions on President Trump directly if Trump was a subject of the investigation, Jenna?
Yeah, I mean, I think that Democrats can, ask about, what was contained in the Mueller report. What they can't ask him to do is speculate or offer his, opinion on whether or not he, for example, likes President Trump or whether he would have voted for him. I mean, this is not a popularity contest, even though, of course, the national popular vote is a big deal in the media right now. This is not whether, whether Robert Mueller himself would have liked the evidence to show otherwise. This is about facts. This is about the fact that we should all be excited that the president of the United States and anyone related to his campaign actually didn't do anything. What I think is going to be really interesting on Wednesday is to see what the Republicans are going to ask. They're going to ask Robert Mueller, what actually was your scope here? Why didn't you investigate anything related to the Steele dossier? Lisa Page and Peter Strzok. Why aren't you investigating Obama and Hillary? Why aren't you investigating the Democrats? I think that in the Inspector General's report coming out, I mean, that I think is going to be the much more interesting aspect of Mueller's testimony.
He didn't investigate Hillary and Obama because Hillary and Obama weren't speaking with the Russians. That was Trump and his administration and his son and his son-in-law.
Right.
So that's why
I guess we'll
that's why he
hear
was
from you.
investigating Trump.
We'll have you back Wednesday, maybe, after the testimony. Will Bruzzo, Jenna Ellis Reeves, thank you for joining us tonight.